Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Daisy, and in this channel, I focus on psychology so that you can know more about yourself and others. So, let's talk about self entitlement in this video. I know that in the last one, I introduced briefly about self entitlement, but I still want to dive deeper into this topic. Self entitlement is not self love. It is not real self concept shifting. It is more about a belief based claim to a reward that is not supported by the evidence, by the behavior, than by the reality. The social media spreads this because it feels so powerful, but the long term price you need to pay is you feel frustrated, empty, and disconnected from your reality, from yourself, and from your own real self growth. So let me start with something sound familiar. A lot of people feel frustrated nowadays. Not a big one, huge one, but a quiet one like I have worked so much on myself. Like I have rebelled my self concept. So why am I still not getting the result, the recognition, the money, the thing I want, the partner? Why? And then the conclusion people reach is the system, the world must be unfair. I deserve more. People just don't see me. But the reason is that people believe self concept changing is about deciding they deserve more, like they deserve more love, they deserve more success, they deserve more money, they deserve respect without changing their how they show up, how they present themselves, how or even how what they tolerate. There is a huge distinction between self entitlement and real self growth. So this video is not about a criticism, it is more about a clarification. Because the problem really is not about wanting more, because we all need to have desires to drive us for a better future. The problem is confusing inner decision with external entitlement. So I introduce you five classic, self entitlement beliefs. They are very common. So if you feel you have these beliefs or this pattern, don't judge yourself. They are very common, and most of them are invisible for people who are holding them. So the first one is feeling angry or frustrated when your effort is not recognized or rewarded. This is not just a, disappointment, because disappointment is so normal, but that is more about a sense of this shouldn't be happening to me. Like I am special, I'm the lucky one. So this misfortune shouldn't be happening to me. There must be something wrong. And second one is you expect admiration, loyalty, or love or respect without constant contribution, meaningful contribution. Not because you are lazy, but because you believe, you think that you are enough to get what you want. And the third one is number three, is you avoid the reality's feedback, the criticism, the correction, while still believing that you deserve the praise. And number four is you define your own self worth, your self value by what others give you, like the attention, the validation, the opportunities, etc. Like you think if I get this or that, then it means I am meaningful. And number five, the last one is you talking far more about what you deserve than what you are actually doing, actually building, actually practicing. So that are five self-entitlement beliefs. But the distinction is those are claims. Self-entitlement is about claiming, but real self-growth is about building. Like self growth means, oh, I am becoming somebody, but self entitlement says, I deserve something. Like self and self growth says, I am becoming somebody who naturally produces this outcome. But self entitlement just saying, oh, I have decided, so I deserve this. One is just living in the imagination, and the another is concrete doing. And you know why so many people got trapped in this loop? It's because modern self improvement culture rewards it. It just felt so, especially on social media, it just felt like so empowering. Saying things, messaging like, oh, claim it, decide it, know your worth and value, just believe it. It feels so powerful. It feels so easy. It bypasses the uncertainty, the failure, the difficulty, the time, and it just gives you the reward immediately. It gives you that dopamine high hit, that emotional high without requiring discipline and skills. It is so appealing, but it is not true. You can decide that, oh, I deserve fame, I deserve success, I deserve money, I deserve those or that for as long as you can, but nothing will change because you are still avoiding this work. This social media's contact about changing your self belief by entitlement keeps people consuming those kind of content instead of confronting their own reality. It makes people think that there is a thing called self growth without friction, but that is impossible. You can look at those success people from the history or from nowadays, they suffered a lot. They grew from a process, but self entitlement ignores this process and it just gives you that reward immediately. It jumps straight toward that reward. You feel like, okay, as long as it's just I claim that, then I believe that I become that. But that's BS. And real. But the problem is that it is where emptiness starts, because when people mostly live in their imagination, live in their imagined identity, who they think they are or what they think they should receive, reality becomes a constant threat. Like the more they claim that they deserve more, the more fragile they feel inside because reality keeps contradicting to that claim. Reality gives no care about what you claims. It only recognizes our patterns. It only recognizes who we what we do. It only recognizes the concurrence between our mind and our body. The more you try to convince yourself that you believe something, the more empty and anxious you feel inside because our body, our biological system knows there is a huge gap between what we believe or what we want to believe and what really is. There is a huge gap. And I show you what real self growth looks like. It's quieter, it is deeper, it is calmer, and it doesn't constantly announce itself. Because it doesn't need to do so. Self growth, real self growth, and self concept shifting, self identity shifting. It's more about you doing the things even before you feel ready. You building instead of fantasizing. You letting reality, the feedback, refine who you are instead of threatening who you are. It is more about accepting your circumstances instead of pretending it doesn't exist. And you know what interesting is? The interesting thing is that when entitlement drops, fulfillment increases. The moment you no longer need that self entitlement, you just feel more grounded, feel more real, feel more fulfilled. Because not because reality suddenly becomes easier to you, but because you regain that agency. Because you stop emotionally bargaining with the reality, with the world. You stop waiting for being seen. You start your self trust. You start to trust yourself because your identity now is supported by your action, not by your imagination. That's such a relief for you. And you know, I think real self growth happens when your imagination steps back, steps aside, and the reality becomes your partner instead of your enemy. So that's today's video. I hope you learned a lot. But I still want to say if you recognize anywhere yourself in this video, there's nothing to be ashamed of because it is so common and people get trapped into self entitlement not because they are bad, quite the opposite, because they wanting to grow too much. This is not a setback. This is a move forward towards stopping your imagined confidence to real, grounded self respect, and abandoning and letting go that self entitlement. It is not abandoning ourselves, but more about a mature form of self respect. So, when you realize there's nothing to be afraid of, it comes back to our own real self. So that's this is the video, and Merry Christmas. Thank you, everybody. See you next month.